Hey friends, welcome to the Glow Getters podcast. My name's Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, but you can call me KFA because nobody can say that last name. I teach and inspire leaders to step into their power, productive selves, and unlock their fullest potential. I'm a multi-passionate creative and scientist who climbed to the top of the healthcare leadership ladder by age 28, making six figures as a manager. I share what I've learned that I wish I knew when I landed my first leadership role at age 25. You can find more from me on my Patreon site at patreon.com/KFA Glowgetters. Okay, now on to the show. Hey everybody, thanks for listening to today's episode of Coffee with Kayla. I'm really happy that you're here with me today. Many of you know that I'm a quote junkie and I love quotes. So today I'm going to be talking about a quote that I heard, and it's all going to be featured around this concept of going slower to move fast. And so I'm going to kind of explain that concept to you as it applies to life in general and leadership when we talk about maybe the workspace or an organization you're working for or volunteering with. So here's the quote. I found it on Pinterest, like all good quotes that I find. It says, in 6 months' time, you can either be in the same place or a better place. Focus every day on improving your health, wealth, and happiness. It will take time, but you can make it happen. Okay, so I got to take a little sip of my coffee really quick. Okay, hopefully that wasn't too bad. Okay, so in 6 months' time, you can either be in the same place or a better place. So this concept of, somewhere in the future, you'll be somewhere else if you focus on certain things: health, wellness, wealth, and happiness. And, as leaders or as humans, I think sometimes, at least this is my experience, I really want something right now. And especially, I know I'm not knocking on the millennials because I'm one of them, but we're in this society of instant gratification, right? With social media, we post something, we get likes, we're like instantly rewarded. And so the concept of it, something taking a long time, feels like too slow or too daunting, or just like, really, this is going to take forever. And it requires discipline and consistency to do something for 6 months or however long to see your goal or the objective come to fruition. And so sometimes what happens then is that means we throw our hands in the air and we're like, nope, we're not going to do it because that's a lot of work, or it might feel impossible, or it's just too big of a project. And I've seen this a lot too with leaders that I've worked with. It's just daunting and overwhelming. And so, with leaders, the thing for me is that I always suggest is, breaking down those large goals into smaller goals. I did an episode on this a while back, all about, figuring out the path to a goal by breaking it down. And it's in episode 4 called How to Do to Dream. And there's actually a roadmap in there that you can check out. But I always tell people, break your goals into smaller goals that feel more achievable. But also, it can be really simple as doing one thing every day or every couple of days to get you toward your goal. So a lot of leaders and inspirational speakers talk about this. I think about Rachel Hollis. She talks about the Today Journal. I should totally get that right. Let me Google it. Rachel Hollis journal. Shoot, I'm going to totally get Start Today. Yep, Start Today journal. And so every day I think people are recording their 10 goals that they want to see happen. And it's basically an affirmation. And when you talk about something that happens in the future, they're saying like, I am, and making it present tense. They're really, aligning the universe and themselves to say like, this is my goal. It's front of mind. I'm calling it out and I'm going to go towards it every day. It makes it real to say it in your lips and to write it down. So to just kind of undercomplicate all of this, one concept that I really live by and try to remind myself a lot is something one of my bosses told me a while back. And it's this quote that's pretty well known. If you Google it, it's go slow to move fast. which means take small steps to take you far. You know, you need to kind of put in the front end work for something to go fast or move fast or go farther for you. So I kind of like the quote. I like it when I say go slow to go farther, because it's consistency and taking incremental, consistent steps that are actually going to take you way farther than going really quickly and expecting a result sooner rather than later when you haven't put in the commitment. So, how do you do this? Well, like I kind of mentioned before, is do one thing every day towards your goal. So, you guys, I am in this Self-Care September series, and I know that it's hard to be consistent posting every day or every other day and talking about self-care, but I want to do this for you. So one thing every day, whether it's a podcast or a post or an Instagram story, kind of in that light, you know, I really wanted to start selling my art again and sharing it with people to bring people joy. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to start this, my shop again. I wanted to change the name. So one day I changed the name and I changed it to Blue Hue Art, right? And that's all I did that day. That's all that I had the time or the capacity for. And then the next day I was like, okay, I need new pictures of my art, because I looked back and I was like, whoa, these pictures look so old, even though they were only taken, you know, maybe a year ago. And so I took pictures of my art on a night or like an evening where the sun was out and slowly setting, and I had good natural light, and that's all I did. The next day that I worked on this, I wanted to set up my Etsy shop, because I've had a website before, but managing it is kind of annoying to me. I just don't feel like I have the capacity or really am in a space where I want to learn that right now. And so I'm like, I'll just reopen my Etsy shop. It already has the platform for it. And so that's what I did. And then the next day I was like, okay, I'm going to set up my Instagram. You know, I'm going to come up with the bio. I had the bio, but I didn't have any pictures posted yet. And then the next day I posted 3 pictures to get it started. And then every day since then, I've been trying to post a picture or every other day, and just to make it look visually appeasing. Pleasing. Sorry, it is early. It's 6:21 here. I need another swig of coffee. So, you know, it's one thing at a time. And what's going to help you is setting a long-term goal and then setting those smaller goals. Something else that I've been working on that you guys might find interesting is saving more money. So how many of you get to the end of the year or tax time and you're like, oh shit, like I made all this money and I paid all these bills. In theory, I should have maybe some left over, but I don't even know where it went. Well, you know, if you don't have a system set up where you're looking at your bank account, you're probably going to spend that money. And so for me, that was kind of what was happening to me, is that we had a lot of bills to pay for, you know, just, you know, house, electric, all that stuff, just normal things, you know, and then DJ took a month or 2 off of work before after residency, before he starts his job. And so I was like, okay, like I need to make sure that I can keep us afloat while he's not getting a paycheck. And I was like, you know what? Like I'm leaving money on the table and spending more than I really want to. And this was just because, you know, life's busy, and I was kind of operating on a monthly schedule where I check my bank account every month and kind of tidy it up and make sure everything's good, because I have everything else on auto payment. And what I realized is like, I should have more money in here. Like, what's up? And you know what? It was us going to Target here and there, not transferring the extra money to savings at the end of the month, and then it just kind of all washes together. I'm sure this sounds familiar for some of you guys. So I set a huge goal for myself in July. I was like, I'm going to save 10 grand by the end of the year. Legit. I was like, you know, I'll be damned if I don't have something at the end of the year to say I've saved. And of course, I've saved other money and put money in different accounts and paid our mortgage and all of these things and invested in, you know, awesome memories and trips and stuff. But I want to actually say I've saved 10 grand from July to the end of the year. And so I I, divided what I needed to save per month, and I have been setting up what I call money dates for myself. So Sunday night, because that's kind of the night where we prepare for the week and we come back from the cabin, usually if we're up north, I sit down with myself and I have a money date. And I have a big Excel spreadsheet where I have all of the charges and, the debits and the payments and things like that coming in and out of our accounts. And I go through the account. I'm essentially balancing my checkbook, except it's the online account with my Excel spreadsheet. And I am also projecting for the next month what the expenses will be and how much I'll have left over. So, and I'm still budgeting. I'm budgeting differently. I used to budget like pay period to pay period and look at it monthly, which was not working. So now I look at it every week. I budget all at one time for the whole month, knowing exactly how much income I'm bringing in and the expenses. But then I look at it every week to reconcile it and say, like, okay, did we go over for the monthly target budget or not? What extra do we have? Can we transfer that right away to savings? Can we pay a little more on the credit card or whatever it is? And so can we pay more on the mortgage or the car payment this month? And so that's been super helpful. I've been able to save over $5,000 in the last 3 months. And so I'm just feeling so grateful that I've been able to do that. And just by putting it front of mind, right? And then also just I feel so much better. So I think that we all have different relationships with money, but this is one of the things that I know, I'm always so conscious about it, because growing up, we didn't have a lot of money to, spread around. We had enough, but I wasn't the kid who asked for things because I just knew that it would be a burden. So for me, it was just like, there's different money relationship I need to unpack there. But the point is, I'm doing something over time that's going to get me a goal. So like the quote in the beginning of this episode was, in 6 months' time, you can either be in the same place or a better place. Focus on improving your health, wealth, and happiness every day. And so for me, I'm doing that weekly money dance. I actually heard this idea, I think it was on the Find Your Happiness, Earn Your Happiness podcast, where this person has money dates with themselves, and they play like fun money music. So like money, 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 money. I don't always do that, but I do put on some music to make it like a fun thing, to like condition myself to say like, this is a fun thing. Like it's not, I have to do it. It's, I want to do it. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to move the money around and make sure that I have what we need. So that's just one example of going slow to move fast. It's like the months go slow, when it comes to, have to save everything, monthly or weekly. But over 6 months, I'm going to have that extra $10,000 and I'm going to feel so happy about it. All right. So I think during the season of self-care, September, this also goes along with the concept of being still. I think the Bible talks about this, but just, in general, I think about all the craziness going on with social media and politics and all of this stuff. And sometimes you hear all of this noise coming in and you just need to turn it off and be still, even this podcast. So if you have big goals or dreams and you keep consuming information, sometimes that can make you feel overwhelmed or actually demotivate you, because you might have had your eye on the prize, but now you heard about someone else's great idea or how bad the world is or whatever that is. And you're like, shoot, and now you're rethinking it. So I would just encourage you, if you're in a season where you want to be really creative, don't look at what other people are doing. Maybe turn off that radio and just go for it and do your thing and do something every day, but be still and listen to yourself. Listen to your own intuition. I know I definitely do this, where I go in spurts where I'm feeling like I need inspiration and I just want to hear all the ideas and I want to listen to all of my radio news and all of that. And then some days I'm like, you know what? No, I don't want more information coming into my brain. I'm already overstimulated as it is with the day and work and home and kids. Like, I just want to be able to be in my own creative space and be able to have my own flow without, having to be subject to the comparison game. So that's my advice. So guys, just to wrap it up here, the quote that I shared at the beginning of the episode is, in 6 months' time, you can either be in the same place or a better place. Focus every day on improving your health, wealth, and happiness. It will take time, but you can make it happen. Go slow to move faster. As I like to say, go slow to go farther. And just know it doesn't have to be perfect right out of the gate. This podcast recording isn't perfect, but it's something. It's progress every day. So do one thing every day to get you towards your goals. Consider your health, wealth, and happiness on the way. Things that I'm doing are setting up money dates with myself weekly to save $10K by the end of the year, and starting my Blue Hue Art business again, and just, to share joy with people, whether that's in their home or in their office space. Realize you don't have to do all the things. Do the one thing every day, and that's actually going to help breed consistency and set you up for success. All right, guys, thanks so much for listening, and I can't wait to talk with you in the next episode. Have a great one. Whoa, that went by way too fast. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Glow Getters Podcast. You can get the bonus content for this podcast at my Patreon site at www.patreon.kfaglowgetters. And also you can check me out on Instagram at Fahey-Ahrndt. All right, everyone, until next time, be a light in the world. Talk to you soon.